Hey guys, so what this bootcamp is all about, I wanted to give you a short introduction to fundamentally why we do this bootcamp. Ultimately, when we think about the strategy for what the bootcamp is really to help you move to the last mile, right? So when you graduate from this program, ultimately you should be given the skills you need to be industry ready. That's why I started this program, because I realized that a lot of people that we were hiring at my startup, the Hacker Collective, we realized that there was a lot of unpolished gems, people who knew about software, who had some experience with software in university, who had the drive, who had the personality, who was very hardworking, but they just lacked that final bit to be industry ready. So what happened is they end up coming into our company and they end up just learning. A lot of times was just spending the first 3, 4, 5 months learning up things. And unfortunately, we couldn't offer them the best salaries because these people would come in and they just wouldn't have the industry experience. So that's what I come to realize, that when we want to train people and build them up, I realized we needed a bootcamp, just a last mile bootcamp, to give you all the steps you need to learn a particular set of skills that companies want, to really prove them, say, hey, I know my thing. Hey, I know what software is all about. Hey, I know about security, I know about deployment, I know about CICD, I know about how to design good applications. There are specific things that really impress employers for good reasons. These are actually very practical skills that will make you as a developer very productive and very useful in a company. It's not about knowing your theory. It's not about knowing what a state machine is. It's not about understanding, what is your OSI model and networking. Fundamentally, it's what can you do to help my company? What practical skills you have? Can I give you stuff now and you can straight away do it? And not just do it, but do it well, do it with quality. So this bootcamp of ours is actually our personal, our own internal company training that we give our staff. We said, why can't we train other people out there? And we can't hire everybody we bring on board, but why can't I refer you to the best companies? Why can't we link you guys up to startups across in other countries? In Singapore, for example, where often salaries are better as compared to Malaysian companies, and you get better opportunities as well. So here's what I wanted to share with you, is that there is a big opportunity out there for software. Don't just take any job. Take great jobs that really give you good opportunities. So if you want to get that great job with that good opportunity, you have to be selective. But to be selective, you also need to have skills that will make you stand out from the crowd. I know this because I started off as a self-taught developer by myself, just learning on my own for one whole year, right? And because I was very selective with the technology stack I learned, because I learned a lot of different technologies as well, I just learned anything I could learn for that one whole year, right? I just absorbed everything. Companies saw me and said, wow, this guy has a range of experiences across different things, right? He looks useful, he can self-learn himself, let's give him a job. And my first job gave me 4,000 ringgit. So ultimately, what I want to tell you is, if you are selective with your job, if you are given good opportunity, it will snowball. If you get a bad job in the beginning, you're going to do lousy work, you're not going to be able to learn up new things. They're going to give you, hey, fix some bugs here, fix some bugs there, and you just won't improve your career. Your career would slow down a lot. That's what I'm trying to say. If you got a good job in the beginning with good skills and good opportunities, your career is going to move very fast in the next 3-4 years, as compared to someone who just to get started but got a lousy job, and therefore was given lousy opportunities, and therefore you're not even able to improve yourself because the opportunities you're given is just not there. You end up doing CSS or HTML or just doing some front-end design. You were not given the best opportunities. So that's why I want to offer you this bootcamp, to say, hey, let us teach you everything. Let us tell you all the stuff that we feel is needed to be a very solid developer. It's just the last bit, and then we will lead you and refer you to great companies with great jobs, because we believe with this bootcamp, with the skills that we can teach you, you're going to be good. So who am I? I'm Ming. I'm the CTO of the Hacker Collective. I started this company 2.5 years ago with my business partner, Derek. We are all about upskilling people and just training people up, especially in Malaysia, because I personally believe that what is happening with universities out there, right? They're just not producing enough quality talent. And we're having a talent shortage right now. So I said there must be something better that we can do about this. So that's why with this program that I'm personally creating, I believe the tech stack that we choose in this program, the technologies we ask you to learn, is actually not technologies that is popular now, but it's technologies that's going to be popular in the next 5 years, the next 10 years. It's popular in Silicon Valley, it's popular in Singapore. It's not popular in Malaysia because we're fundamentally 3-5 years behind, and that's not what you want to do. You want to do technologies that's 3-5 years ahead, not behind. So that's why we plan for this as well. So I believe that if you join our program, you're going to do very, very well. So I hope to see you around. Sign up for the program. It's not going to be easy, but if you put in 8 to 10 hours, you can do it. I want to share with you what exactly you'll be learning in this bootcamp. So let me break it down. Fundamentally, it's going to be 3 parts: the front end, the back end, and DevOps. And that's all you need. Well, those are all the 3 big areas you need in a web application. Now, why we chose to go all 3 is because ultimately, when you're in a company, you want to be at the position where you can manage everything. That's how companies give you all the opportunity, or give you, hey, you're amazing, can you lead the whole team or lead this group of developers, because you know all the parts, right? So you don't need to know in depth into each separate section, but you need to know the key parts for each section to be able to do it well. So when we talk about front end, firstly, it's not, and across all of them, it's never about creating software, it's about designing software, right? How to design a good front end, how to design a good back end, how to design a good DevOps. Why? Because when you have good design, you can hire any junior developer, any developer, and they can follow your design, follow your framework, and the software is going to be good. Well, what I mean by front end design, how do you design your modules of your system? So whenever you look at a web application is composed into different modules or different parts of the system. And this front-end part, this front-end application, the different sections can be developed separately by different people. So it makes sense to always combine them into modules. So if it's Lazada, if it's Shopee, if it's Airbnb, I got the login module, I got the checkout module, I got the shopping cart module, I got the marketplace module, I got the place where people give their reviews or comments, I got the profile module. Notice that every section as mentioned, these modules, these are basically sections that operate within their own world in the app. That's why we talk about designing modules well. And then of course, within each module, how do you design your components well, your pages well? How do they talk to each other, right? How do you design your functions well? The logic of your presentation, how do you compose them well? So that's front end in a nutshell, right? I'm not going to go into more in depth, but that's about designing the application. Front end especially. Now let's talk about back end. Back end is all about APIs, right? The back end consists of 2 parts. Your APIs, where client-side applications can communicate with your back end. How do you design the APIs well? And secondly, how do you design the logic in the back end well? Because the back end often contains business logic, right? How do you design the business logic well? So often we talk about designing it, and then also how do you create tests around it to make sure that the logic is always reliable, maintainable every single time, right? And lastly, we go to DevOps, often almost always including CICD. Why CICD is so important in DevOps? Because CICD fundamentally, it automates things. It makes things repeatable. Every time you push code, you deploy code, you run your system checks, you run your deployment scripts. So it's all about automation and standardization. I always tell people it's easy to build software. Not so easy maybe to build good software that's designed well, but it's easier to build things than to maintain it and run it in production. Because when you build something, you're starting from scratch. You can do whatever you want. Hey, make mistakes, throw it away. But when you're maintaining something, when you are having a lot of people updating the code live, you need to build checks and balances in place to make sure that no one destroys the code, that the code doesn't slowly gets corrupted, or that people are not pushing bad quality code. Because if you constantly push a little bit of bad code every day over a year, it adds up. So that's what CICD does. CICD fundamentally creates pipelines and funnels for you to insert a lot of checks and balances. Every time a code is pushed, run these checks, run these tests, make sure everything passed, then you accept them into the code base. So That's one part of DevOps. Another part of DevOps is, of course, deploying your applications to the cloud, managing the security of it. So those are parts we'll get into as well. And if I can summarize, if you know all these three parts very well, you are effectively able to handle full application of your own. You may not have the experience enough yet to be able to manage a whole team, but you definitely know how everything works. You just have to practice those skills and you're very good to go. And these tools are going to stay with you for the next 4 or 5 years, right? So ultimately, this is the practical knowledge that you want to share with companies, because, and even if you build your own startup, these are the knowledge that you're going to need to know. How the bootcamp is going to be run. When I thought about it, how can really we squeeze all these things in 1 month? It's crazy, right? Like all these learnings in front-end, back-end DevOps in a month. I must think you guys are some crazy geniuses, which I believe you are. If you're watching this video, if you're considering taking a bootcamp, you must be thinking a lot about yourself, a lot about your future, and I'm sure you can do it. And I must tell you, I must warn you, I did cram quite a lot in this bootcamp, right? So here's what it's going to consist of, and here's what I feel will really help you the most, okay? I'm going to give you a lot of our tips, tricks. I'm going to give you a lot of the answers up front to how to do things. What I mean by this, I'm going to actually create video tutorials, right? About my thought process to build a full web application, and we're going to apply the principles that we learned. So I'm going to start with front end on week 1. Week 1, Monday to Saturday, all right? Monday to Friday during the weekdays, you're going to be watching the videos and practicing everything about front end. You're going to follow the videos, you're going to watch it, and you're going to practice and learn up and read articles and documents on it. You're going to follow along as you build your test web application on weekdays, right? Then on week 1, on Saturday, on the weekend, just that Saturday, okay? Sunday, we're going to leave as a holiday, or you're going to practice every stuff. But on Saturday, you're going to be teaching your partner. So when the class is split into 2 sections, 5 people and 5 people. One half of the people, right, is going to be doing just the front end. The other 5 is going to be doing the back end. It doesn't matter which order you start first, right? There are 2 different parts, right? Why I say we do half-half is because what I realize is when you teach someone, you learn the best. And when someone is teaching you, you also learn faster as well. So when you are doing the front end and your friend is doing the back end, on the Saturday you guys come, you spend 4 hours teaching your friend, and your friend's going to spend 4 hours teaching you back. You teach front end, he teach back end to you. And when you teach someone, you learn a lot. And on week 2, you guys are going to swap. He's going to do front end and you're going to do back end. And you're going to learn and you're going to teach on the weekend as well. Of week 2, you teach back end now and he teaches you front end now. So that's the idea. And you're going to watch tutorials as well on the back end. Week 3 is where we can do a lot of front end, back end, combining them together. So you'll be learning a lot of stuff where you need front end, back end combining stuff. So how front end communicates to back end, how do you make sure it's secure? How do you ensure the right API is designed well? So a lot of combining stuff between front end and back end. Finally, the last week is going to be a lot about solidifying your knowledge, practicing up your knowledge, and you should be going to do a lot of DevOps. So building your CICD applications, learning how to use servers, cloud deployments, learning how to package your applications well. And this will finally prepare you for the final assessment that everyone needs to do to pass the course. The final assessment is you must build a whole web application yourself on your own from scratch. It's gonna be a simple front end because you're not here to test your HTML or CSS skills. We don't want to just see you build a simple front end, but utilizes all the learnings you learn about how to design a good front end well. Build the back end, do all the CICD, deploy everything to the cloud. Literally, you become a super full stack. That will be your final assessment, and that may take you 5 days, 6 days. So fundamentally, the whole course is done within a month, and you're going to spend an extra 4 or 5 days to finish off your assessment. And once you've done your assessment, this is gonna blow everyone's mind because you did everything yourself from scratch. And you're gonna be so different from any other uni grad out there. So I don't mean to diss unis, but I see an app, I go, whoa, this is cool. And turns out they did it with like teammates or something and they just did a small portion of it, right? You're gonna do the whole app yourself from scratch. Finally, what we are doing as well is if you find it difficult or challenging, message us in the chat room. That's what it's all about. We have a Discord channel. You can reach out to mentors. We can save you hours. We can tell you the answers. Sometimes it's okay to ask for answers or ask your friends, ask your batchmates in the group. And this is how I believe you can learn super fast. So what you're doing in 1 month, people may take 6 months to do because I'm giving you the guidance. I'm telling you what's the best way to learn things. and you follow our guide, but you're free to discover on your own as you follow this guide. We're teaching you all this, and you obviously say, okay, great. How's this going to help me? How's it going to help you? What we are here to talk about fundamentally is how can this get you a much better job? Now, here's really what we're going to do for you, right? You're going to finish the whole bootcamp. You're going to complete the bootcamp. You're going to complete the assessment. You're going to pass it and go, whoa, you've done a whole assessment. You've done a whole project. Great. What we are going to do is we're actually going to refer you to all our partner companies. And when we refer you to our partner companies, it's not, the trick is this, they're not in Malaysia, they're actually in Singapore. And when they're in Singapore, they're going to offer some great salaries. And after you convert, whoa, you're going to get 4K. That's how we're going to get you 4K fresh grad job. Almost guaranteed fresh grad 4K job, because we're referring you to our partner companies in Singapore. Now, you can't be moving to Singapore, of course, so you'll be technically hired under the Hacker Collective with all our people that we're training up. So imagine every month we're training 20, 30, 50 people, and we plan to form a hub. The hub is actually like a big co-working space where all of us developers, like I can imagine right now, hundreds of us by end of the year, coming together in this big hub, all learning, working for companies all over, but in this one place. And we learn together and we build stuff together, and you'll be surrounded by friends. It's going to be amazing. This is my personal vision for our boot camps, is that when we start graduating a lot of people, yes, they're working for other companies, but they'll be housed or they'll be based in our offices. And we're going to have nice offices. And when you're surrounded by really dynamic people, guess what? You're going to learn a ton as well. You're going to have networking, event sessions. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be like a community, right? So that's really what we want to do. We want to build the most amazing developer community ever. I wish I could hire every one of you guys, right? I wish our company could hire everybody, but we can't, right? But how can we still keep all the talent density, talent pool within Malaysia or within a space? And by the way, why I say Malaysia only? Because Malaysia, I gotta tell you, man, in Southeast Asia, Malaysia is one of the best talent ever. Plus, we speak good English. Plus, we're not far time zone from Australia. Plus, we're just next door to Singapore. So in fact, we beat out everyone from Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand. And guess what? Cost of living in Malaysia is low. If you were to move to Singapore right now, your cost of living will be so high, you'll be earning peanuts. You'll be making no savings, basically. Ultimately, what we're here to pitch to you is get great jobs overseas. Work with us. We're gonna funnel you over to these great companies. We're going to recommend you to all our partner companies, and we're going to upskill you through our bootcamp. What we ask for in return is a small upfront to, of course, show your commitment, right? Of course, to support us as well. And number two, a salary share scheme. So salary share scheme meaning every time you earn your money in the future for the next 6 months, you give a small portion to us, 10 to 15%. Even after you give us a 10 to 15%, guess what? You're still earning above top market rate only for the next 6 months, and you're already getting the best job you can get. And hey, it's not capped at 4,000. If you're actually really good, you could be a bit more. Our bootcamp is targeted at juniors, people who are gonna get 2,500, 2,600, 3,000. Suddenly you're getting a 4K job straight away. And when you get such a good job in the beginning, people are gonna give you work that is worth 4K, and that's how you're gonna learn fast. They're not gonna give you 2.5K work. They're going to give you 4K work. So therefore, that's how you build yourself and speed up your development as a developer in your career as well. I hope you join us on this journey. We really want to work with you. We really want to find great talents. All I care about, finding great talent and building the most amazing talent base in this country. And we'll do all we can to help you. If you help us, we will help you. One more thing you may want to ask, what makes me qualified, or what makes my company qualified to be able to offer this bootcamp and teach you stuff? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not the best developer out there in Malaysia. I'm not even crazy good. I mean, I don't know. I'll leave it to you, right? I can't say I'm good. All I can say I'm confident is I'm confident enough to get you that 4K job. I'm confident enough that whatever we're teaching you gets you that job. That's all I can say. And you can look at our material. You can look at what we're teaching you. You can look at what the tools and knowledge that we're giving you allows you to do. Ultimately, you want to build a full stack web application. You want to be able to impress your employer. To impress, you need to build stuff. We are teaching you stuff that will allow you to build applications. Good web applications that don't crash and burn. I mean, when you build it, you will realize and you will see, wow, this makes logical sense. But to share a bit about credentials, we are the Hacker Collective. We have effectively done 6 to 7 web applications now. I've gone through a bunch of them already. So we have really learned a ton when we build web applications. I myself personally am a self-taught developer for the past 5 years. I've worked for companies on freelance basis. I've done a lot of DevOps before with companies as well. So I've done the full stack, right? From front end to back end to DevOps to system architecture. I'm learning just like you. I'm not saying I'm the best, but I love learning. I love exploring cutting edge stuff. And what I have learned in the Hacker Collective over the past 2.5 years gives us a lot of insights into how to build great web applications. But we got a lot of insights that we can share with you that will make your employers go wow, that will make people that see your skill set go whoa, this guy really has some interesting insights into stuff. So that's fundamentally it. Thanks guys.